off the ground. Oh wait, wrong button. I'm Ash,
And I'm Fatima.
and
I
this
just didn't want you to
is
waste your story. This is Fatash.
Fatash.
And also, I felt
Excuse
like it
me.
was going to go on for a bit. So,
Oh no, I was just gonna go until you showed up, but sure, I could share with other folks who may or may not watch this now or later on. Like my avatar, I'm skinny bitch. And I have taken that for granted in terms of my health in a lot of regards. I blame this country and just a lack of knowledge in general about just health. It's very ignorant on my part, but you don't know what you don't know. But I came across a video today of this woman that looked about my size or so, and she's like, "Yeah, you see me? Yeah, I have diabetes. Yeah, that's right. Skinny people can get diabetes." And I was like, "Oh, what?" And then this doctor came in. It was like a TikTok stitch or whatever. And he's like, "Yeah, so people over 30, you become more at risk for developing diabetes because of like something to do with your muscles, essentially. So
losing muscle
if
mass. Yeah.
muscle mass, yeah, losing muscle mass and your sensitivity to insulin and all that. So it's not just, oh, you're fat, you're gonna have diabetes, which to my ignorance I thought diabetes was more so a result of like having too much fat, not necessarily muscle mass.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit. Because I'm like, I don't work out. I really, really abhor the idea of working out. The most exercise I get is like, I probably walk 10 minutes a week at this point because I don't really leave the house.
I thought you were going to say day. I thought you were
No,
going to say
no,
day.
not even a day. I have a very sedentary life working from home. So the only real workout I get is when I have to leave the house and it takes about 5 to 8 minutes to get to the train station and then another 5 to 10 minutes to get back to my house. So, about 10 minutes in a week, give or take. Yeah, so I'd like to say it was like a come to Jesus moment, but not really. It's like, oh, hmm. Well,
Well, there's stuff you can do from home. There's like
yeah, but
body weight. Like they're talking about muscles. So, like,
yeah,
just push
but
ups, squats,
I,
crunches, that kind
I,
of
I
stuff.
really, I really,
You can do
really
it.
don't. I
we
really
can
don't.
we can
I
talk
really.
about like they call it like fitness snacks. Like you don't set aside like a whole half hour. You just
I
feel like,
know.
okay,
I
7 minutes,
know. I really gotta work
20
on the
push-ups.
mindset of that because there is no goddamn reason why I can't be doing a little something something at home in between the work that I do from home.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to. It's a really bad mindset I have found my in the last year or so of just, if I don't want to do it, I'm not going to do it unless it's like life or death kind of situation, which doesn't help the fact that I have not been to a doctor in about 3 years, give or take.
Ah, girl, in this
Well,
country,
more
that's
on the,
nothing. That's
I
nothing.
know, I know, but it's one of those things where like it's something that they could probably pick up. I would hope on my yearly checkup. I think they do blood tests during your yearly checkup just to check your glucose and all that kind of stuff to be like,
Yeah, they
yo,
do that. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So it's definitely one of those things of just basic ass maintenance I've just let go because I've just got into this state of like, if there's no immediate thing that I can see or feel about myself that I feel
You
like
don't want to hear
warrants
about it.
me,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't want to
yeah.
go. And then there's my like passively suicidal tendencies of just like, well, shit, if it takes me, it takes me. I don't really want to do nothing about it. I'll talk to my therapist this week. I think I got a session set up with her.
Well,
Um,
what you're feeling is very common because accessing healthcare in this country is a nightmare.
yeah, and
And then also it's the stress of some surprise bill,
mm,
because they build something incorrectly. Like it really turns you off and it really
or
makes
it's
you like second guess. Like,
Or it's something so innocuous you wouldn't even think they would add that on the fucking bill. Like, I don't even know what I would even call it. I get like maybe periodic psoriasis or something because it's not even consistent. I'll get it once, maybe every 2 years. I'll get a flare up below my belly button, small patch of like dry skin, and I'll put some ointment on it for like a week tops, and then I'm good for another year or so. And so I, for like 2-3 years, had this one ointment that I was using over and over and over again. Finally ran out and had a flare up. Went to the doctor, I want to say 2 years ago, and brought it up during my checkup. I'm like, let me bring this up. Here I am during my checkup, free. Hey, ma'am, I got this thing. This is what my doctors before did. It's like, okay, we'll make you a subscription for it. Subscription for it. I still had to come out of pocket like maybe $10, but was significantly lower than what it would have been. Would have been like closer to 50 or something crazy. And then I get a bill for like $60 or some shit for that diagnosis of like, bitch, all I needed you to do was write a subscription that I had to pay for anyway. What is this additional $60?
Prescription.
What did I say? Subscription?
Yeah, you said it twice.
My God. Prescription. I just needed you to write the prescription for something I already knew was the thing, and I already know what the solution is. I just, as a civilian, can't go up to the counter and just get it. And then on top of that, my doctor's gone. She's like, she's out of network, and she like left the city or some shit. Like,
oh yeah.
Oh my God, it's so.
Didn't she send you a letter before she went?
She sent me a letter after. Like, I had already made an appointment. This has happened to a friend before, where like she's in the room, clothes off, and a new doctor walks in the room. She's like, "Who the fuck are you?" And it's like, "Oh, so and so is no longer here no more," kind of thing. But no, my doctor did. She like posted I got like an email from the practice, and on the practice's like website, when you log in under your account, there was also like a bulletin notice about her no longer being there anymore. But I had already made my appointment, so I just got relegated to whoever she recommended. She was nice enough or whatever, but it's like you build this rapport with your doctor, you know, and I got to start over with this white lady, you know, bless her heart. I haven't seen her since that one time because I'd already made my appointment, but I try to go to black doctors when I can, and it's hard enough as it is to ironically find a decently recommended one in Chicago of all places that's within reason of me getting to them. And so my previous doctor, she was actually an Indian woman, and in all my experience and from friends and family, they said they've had the best experience with Indian women doctors. They listen to you. Their bedside manner is there. I was watching The Pit when it was airing on HBO Max. There's like 3 Indian female doctors on there, and all of them were on it. One was like head of something. One was like a child prodigy who graduated college at like 18. And another chick, she was like, you know, good for what she was doing too, but she had really good bedside manner and was like listening to all the people of color when they had concerns about stuff where other people would like disregard it as, oh, they're just a junkie. It's like, no, she's having a reaction to her sickle cell anemia. That's why she's acting like that. So I just found it really interesting how many people had just spoke to her like, oh yeah, my Indian doctor is great. Even my mom recently just got diagnosed with what could be terminal. We don't know yet. It doesn't, I don't think what she has is terminal, but it finally has a designation. She has some kind of I think she said it was blood cancer. But they're still doing testing on it. But
I'm really sorry to hear that. Jeez.
Yeah. We're dealing with it day by day. That's why I'm not really like tripping too hard like I could, because we haven't gotten a full diagnosis of like she only has 2 months type stuff. It's like she's still getting her testing and everything, and it does sound like something that could go into remission, but it took this long for her to find out. She's had ailments all her life, as far as I can remember, of just like being tired. Her head hurts, a lot of migraines, really heavy
Mm.
period flows. Like we thought it was not the Langata. I didn't even say that right. It was something else that controls your hormones in the back of her head. I
Pituitary
said,
gland?
that's it. She had a pituitary gland situation that was like affecting her period, and like she was still producing milk like a good 10 years after her last kid, which was like, that is crazy.
What did she do with
Um,
it?
she just, I mean, she no, it was just there. It just made her
Did she
breast
did she,
bigger.
did she pump it? Did she like
No,
doesn't it hurt? Like,
it wasn't like a consistent flow, but it was like enough that like she noticed like, I'm leaking this milk type of situation.
oh boy.
Yeah, but again, no doctor was really listening to her
Hmm.
until this Indian woman, and she's like, okay, let's elaborate, go back to that, explain this more. So she actually went the steps to do further tests or
That's
whatever.
crazy that in 10 years, like this is the first person that she encountered that was like, let's dig into this deeper. Like
Yes,
that's
yes. And then now she no longer has that doctor, because she too has moved to like out of the city or something, where it's just my mom can no
I don't
longer
know what's going
see
on with the
her.
doctors, but they are quitting and moving around. I
I
think
mean,
it might have something to do with like the way that corporations, like specifically like insurance companies, have taken over
oh
that
hell yeah, it
sector
has
of
to
the
be.
market. Because like I remember when I was coming along as a drug rep,
Mm-hmm.
like there were very few, even then there were very few independent doctors, and the
Mm-hmm.
independent practices were dying because insurance companies, these big conglomerate insurance companies, would come in and say like, we want to buy your practice, and the doctor would be like, well, my practice is not for sale, and they're like, you don't get it, we with all of our money and resources want to buy your practice, and if
Everything
you
is
don't
for
sell
sale.
it to us, we are going to build another clinic right across the street from yours. We're going to lower the price so that like all of your clients are going to become ours, and we're going to drive you out of business anyway, so like we can do this the
We
easy
can
way
either
or the
give
hard
you the
way.
money, or we can make money and ruin you. The choice is
Yeah,
yours.
and then you'll come work for us anyway.
Mm-hmm. Have you watched The Pit on HBO?
Mm-mm-mm.
I
I
recommend
think
it.
we talked about this.
I would. Well, I
I
said
don't
it the
like
same. Well, yeah, the
watching
blood.
the
Yeah,
doctors. No,
right.
no, I don't care about the
Oh,
blood. I don't like watching the doctors.
oh. Well, I felt like this was
I'm all
maybe
doctored out. Like,
okay. Well, I felt like this was like this was less like,
not to be like, I hate you if you're a doctor. I don't.
no,
It's
no, no,
just
no.
that.
I get it, but I just mean in terms of the only other exposure I've had to like medical dramas was like Grey's Anatomy, and after a while,
And I
Grey's
didn't like that
Anatomy.
either and didn't watch it.
Oh man, Grey's Anatomy had me and my mom by the neck. That man, what was it, like Thursday nights on ABC? Shit, Desperate Housewives and Grey's Anatomy, that was her jam. But Grey's Anatomy
The
was more
only,
focused on like the drama of the
like,
doctors.
the only medical drama I ever watched was Nurse Jackie.
Oh, the woman that was addicted to drugs.
Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about how
Oh
y'all
my
really
god.
are. Or how some of y'all really are, because like overwhelmingly like anesthesiologists have addictions and like all the way
Mm,
down like because it's if you when you think about the fact that people like self-select their careers,
mm-hmm.
like you know that you like drugs. So
Okay,
you went into this profession that was all about
let me
drugs.
go close to the let me
And then it
get
gave
close
you
to the
access to
source.
the most powerful drugs
Mm.
on earth.
They actually cover one of the doctors having an addiction on The Pit, or like
Yeah, but
they
I
don't.
need that to be the whole show. Like,
Oh, okay. Well, I for one, as someone who likes to watch like forensic files for like the science of how they do certain things, I appreciated The Pit for they don't hold your hand. They just go in
oh
and
wait,
diagnose stuff.
there was another medical drama that I did like.
What was it, House with
No,
his mean ass?
it was Nip Tuck. because I was just
Oh
like,
my
listen,
god,
kid.
nigga. Okay,
Okay,
I
so
too.
maybe there's like a theme, like I need a show which sees you in the way I see you.
Listen. Also,
Which
it's
is,
less about the medical
no,
cases and more about the people doing the
actually
medicine.
it's both, because Nip Tuck did have an actual like nurse on the writing staff, and she was one of the actors, and so she got everything absolutely correct as to what happens when they're doing those procedures, and it was very interesting to watch. And it's
I
the reason why I can clock like Botox from a mile away. And now that I've pointed it out to my father, I fear that I ruined his life all over again. It was the same thing when I taught him how to spot like a wig, and then he started noticing like all these anchors on TV have wigs, and he's like, everybody's a lie. And I was like, yeah.
my
Now look at the fact that she's being real passionate right now, and her forehead's not moving.
it's not moving. Oh my god, I binged watched all of Nip Tuck because I'm pretty sure Nip Tuck ended by the time I was in college. So I was able to rent all the DVDs from the library, and I binge watched all of it.
Oh
And I
yeah, yeah.
fucking hated them. Like, it was a good show, but it was like one of those shows where it's like, I can't watch this show again because they get on my fucking nerves. I could not
Oh, and
stand them after a
also some
while.
of those cases were real cases. So like
Mm.
one episode that in particular that sticks out is the episode of the woman who needed skin grafts because she got stuck to her couch.
Oh, I don't even remember that. Well,
She was on her couch for so long and got so big that she was like melting, like physically melting into the couch. That was based on a real life case, and also there have been a couple other cases like that, but it's one of those fears that I have that shaped my life.
I okay, so there's
And
only
when
like
every time I
two,
tell somebody this, they're like, but you work out and do this and do that. And I was like, this
so
is
that I
why.
don't melt into my couch.
This is why. Because I know that I am this sort of person who could just like give up one day and just find some enabling man to like bring me snackies all day. Like,
Snackies. So the only cases I remember from the show, and one of them wasn't even a case, but just like a medical, I guess, fact, was the trans woman who was dating one of the sons,
yeah, all underage.
and
Ooh, that was nasty.
I
Yeah.
think it was the uncle or like the father's friend that worked with him in the practice ended up sleeping with that same woman.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Mm-hmm.
like, her vagina's too shallow. I was like, what? Vaginas can be shallow. that
Oh.
that lives in the back of my
Oh.
mind
Oh.
to this day because it
Oh.
would make sense considering how they make the vagina for them.
Yeah.
But like, wow, I'm like, whoa, it's shallow. I don't know why that even today I'm still like, it's shallow. Wow. So how deep is the vagina? But anyway, I mean, it's like, how much of a fuckboy are you that you recognize?
Because he's been around. He's been
I know, that's what I'm
around
saying. He's so much of a fuckboy.
and
He's like,
around. Yeah.
you
Oh,
said this vagina ain't deep enough.
and Nip Tuck was my gateway drug into Charmed. Because,
Yes, please elaborate.
okay, so you know how there's like two male leads on Nip Tuck?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The tall, super fine one was on Charmed, but so like that's how I ended up watching all of that shit.
He was the main one that got on my nerves.
I liked him the
Oh,
most.
and the other dude, his son got on my nerves. Like, he was just so dumb. There's just, again, it was one of those shows. I finished it. I can't watch it again.
That son is in also one of my favorite movies that I love to make other people watch, called Teeth.
Oh, the one about the chick with the vaginosis.
No, not vaginosis. It's vagina. What is it? Vagina dentata. About
That
like
one, vagina dentata. And she got teeth in her vagina. Does he
yeah.
get his dick bit off?
Yes,
Yeah, as he
definitely.
should, because that nigga got on my nerves.
But
I know it's a different character, but it feels fitting. Like I remember he was
also,
like,
like I like because like in that one he was like a creepy stepbrother, and
mm,
he knew about the toothed vagina as a young child because he was like older, so he was like trying to molest her, and then he got
mm.
like his finger bit, and he was
Oh,
surprised. So when they cut to him being a teenager, his girlfriend is like, I don't know why you always want to fuck me in the ass. I have a perfectly good vagina right here.
did he not pay attention in health class? Did he not be like, hey,
he
can I,
knew
can I? I'm just saying, you could just check. You
he
could
had
just check her.
experience for himself that vaginas can bite. So
Okay, well, this time, first of all, ask. All right, ask
he,
before you
he
just
was
go
he was an
fingering shit.
asshole. He was not good on consent. So
That is
like
so
yeah.
dumb.
But
That is so dumb.
I don't remember, but I do think that he got his dick bit off
As you
by the
should.
vagina at some point. But
If I hope one day, evolution wise, if this world don't burn to a husk, that women develop teeth in their vaginas that will like instinctively react to unwanted intrusion, like a Venus flytrap. That'd be a cool little. I mean, fucking. If male cats can have fucking spikes in their dicks, then why can't women have spikes in their vaginas?
maybe
Sorry,
we
I'm
used to,
crunching.
because there is like a Native American mythology about
Mm.
like a thing between gods. I think they were called like the vagina sisters or whatever, and they were all like big huge toothed vaginas. And
Mm.
the way that this god conquered these three toothed vagina sisters is that I think he kicked all their teeth in. he kicked all, he kicked all their teeth in and made them sweet. Like that's
Huh?
what it. Yeah, that's what
Oh
it
my
says.
god. That's- You could have just been nice. You could just, why can't we just be
No,
nice? Why we gotta solve it with abuse?
because they're not capable of
God,
being nice.
Jesus. Okay. Well, I say all that to say, in terms of medical stories, the pit focuses more on the medical emergency of working in an ER with
Mm-hmm.
some drama between the medical staff woven in,
Mm.
but it's not at the foreground as much. Um, but you bringing up how these big medical places are like buying up the smaller practices, and how doctors are leaving in the show. The doctors were really annoyed by like the management
Mm-hmm.
people
Yep.
of the hospital, because they were telling them stuff like, we need more staff, we need more medical items, this and the third. They're telling them what they
Yeah,
want.
these business people who don't see any patients
Mm-hmm.
and only are like
Concerned with the bottom line.
well concerned with the bottom line, but also like doctors more today than ever are doing so many administrative tasks like
Mm-hmm.
it that they don't get paid for.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to answer all their messages, and then they also have to keep up with like how many patients they're seeing, and they're
Yeah.
even getting little nasty grams like, oh, I noticed last week like you took an extra long bathroom break and I need you to cut down your bathroom breaks. And like there was one doctor on Twitter who was just kind of like, yeah, I lost a patient, I was crying like.
Yeah, and in the show though, they were pretty. The main thing they were getting harped on, like the lead doctor in particular, was their like customer satisfaction score. They had a very low customer satisfaction score
Mm.
because there's so many people that'll be like in the waiting room, and getting people in and out was not going as fast as the
But
management
also
people
like
wanted it
they
to
have
be.
to prioritize whoever's like
Exactly.
bleeding,
Exactly.
or
And
people who might be there for some other reason.
exactly, which with this show too, there's been folks who are like doctors, let alone ER professionals, who would react to the show and say like, yeah, there's a lot of people who will come to the emergency room just because they don't want to make an appointment with their primary care physician and they need to get an appointment or some shit, like shit that they
Or like all sorts of reasons, or like they're homeless and the shelters are shut down, and
they didn't
it's
cover that one, but yeah.
5 below. That's another one that I know about.
But I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, but you know, if you're just hanging out in the waiting room, that's one thing. But I'm talking in terms
No,
of
they
like,
won't let you hang out. They'll ask you what you're here for, and then you have to
oh,
make up a reason why you're there, and then you
oh,
get to sleep while you wait.
got it, got it. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, so at least for what the show was covering, a lot of these people though, they had, you know, unless you was like passed out in the parking lot or was bleeding out, yeah, you were gonna be there for a minute. And there was one dude that they kept cutting back to periodically who was there since like episode 1. They didn't really say what his condition was, but he was getting more and more annoyed every time somebody else was taken back before him, and he'd been back maybe twice or so just to like get his vitals or whatever, and they run the tests and bring him back to confirm this, that, and the third, but like not address his main concern. So then going back to the higher ups that are on them about their patient satisfactory score, dude's like, if they leave here alive, then they're satisfied. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. I don't really give a fuck about how long it takes for them to be seen. If I finally see them and I take care of them, that is my main concern. But the higher ups who don't deal with the patient, they don't give a fuck. They're just like, your patient scores are low, you need to get your patient scores higher, people need to be satisfied. I'm like, girl. So Mr. I keep getting passed up, he finally gets fed up by like maybe episode 5, and one of the
Oh,
staff
he's been
that
there the whole time.
he's been there, he was there to like half the season and almost got into it with one of the doctors, but they managed to like sit him there like, sir, we will get to you as soon as we can, please just be patient with us. And the woman who actually had like said that to him, this was the first time she'd even like talked to him, but she was just trying to de-escalate stuff. She normally is the woman in the back in the ER who's like updating the charts of like, this patient is in this room, they have this condition, they've been moved out, whatever, whatever. Like, she's keeping track of all of that. And she'd been doing it for like 20 years. She goes outside. This is the first time she's taken a break from the looks of it the entire day. Goes outside to take smoke. And this dude sucker punches the shit out of her and walks off. She ain't even do nothing. She not even a doctor that sees nobody. She just trying to take a quick smoke break. And this man just damn near broke her nose. And that pretty much was the last straw for her. Like, she continued for the rest of the shift, but she's like, I think I'm done. It's been 20 years. I'm not even the first person who's ever been attacked by an irate patient. We don't have enough security to make sure this doesn't happen. We keep telling the higher ups they need to do it. They don't do nothing because they still, oh, your satisfactory score is low. Protect us. You can go to jail for punching a bus driver, but you can't go to jail for punching a doctor or somebody, a staff member of an ER.
You should.
You really should. You talk about first responders. Hello, what we gonna do when the doctor's knocked out cold? The only doctor who knew how to deliver a baby or some shit. I don't know, but like, yeah. So that show just further put into perspective the strain that is on the medical system in this country in general.
Yeah.
And it's just fucking sad. Or there's like a small history lesson they did about like the first what's the word for it? The first iteration of what would be known as the emergency system in the country. How it was like black people just in their neighborhoods learning techniques to take care of their own because the hospitals were not there to help them. And then that got commandeered and became what is now essentially the EMTs. It started from black people in Pennsylvania. And it was just regular people who just like learned just enough medical techniques to just help, and yeah, it got commandeered, and I ain't never heard that before. I
Me
think it's probably
neither.
something. I think it's something you probably learn if you go to medical school or something like that. But for us regular people, we would never have known that. Look at that. Look at black people once again,
Right.
just trying to help ourselves, and someone going to be like, "Oh, that's a good idea. I'm gonna take it," and then not give people their credit.
Well, it's what they do.
That's the country. Speaking of black people doing their own and getting screwed over, have you seen Sinners?
Of course not. I haven't seen anything in a movie theater in like the past
Girl.
10 years. I know. I didn't see it yet. Okay, and I won't see it until it comes to HBO or some shit.
It'll be on HBO. It's a Warner Brothers movie.
Oh, okay, cool. Have you seen You?
The series?
Yeah.
No, I don't have Netflix.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I know enough about him to know that he's a weird ass nigga that like fantasizes about these women, about him having whole relationships with them in his head, and like kidnaps them. Some of them.
It's not like that. I mean, he charms them. He gets with them. Should be going all right for a while, and then they find out that like he's the guy who stole their underwear.
Yeah, and I'll give him credit. From what I've seen, he does look charming. He does look like a fairly, attractive white man. Like he ain't hot to me, but he's like just a level of attractive enough that you wouldn't necessarily clock him as being weird.
Yeah, and also like he's real smooth with the literature and all of that shit.
Yeah,
so,
like you can see how he
he figures he like studies people.
Yeah.
And then like schedules a run in with them, and
yeah, I
think of like, oh, it's fate.
Yeah, I can't knock him for the technique. He's just,
but like soon enough,
you learn it.
Don't
You're like, oh,
go
shit.
well, and then he puts them in a box. Like,
yeah, I've seen the box,
and then eventually it's like.
Not all of them end up in the box.
No, he's like, well, no, yeah, they do.
No, because didn't he date a black woman for a little bit? But she didn't.
She ended up in the box. Yes, she did.
What?
Yes, she did. She ended up in the box.
Mm-hmm. I could have swore there was a black woman he dated that, like, quote unquote, got away. Like they just broke up.
Nope. He doubled back for her.
Oh, damn. Yeah, that's why I don't trust hot people.
He got her into that box. Yeah.
What do you do? Like gas him, or like what's he doing with the box?
What do you mean? What's he doing with the box? Oh, well, he has to lock them up there to explain that. Yeah, like once they start tripping out, like, hey, I found out that you killed my best friend, and you stole my underwear, and I don't think I want to see you anymore. Like when you try to break up with him, you end up in the box.
And then he kills you in the box, or can you leave the box?
Some people have escaped the box, but none of his romantic partners. Like,
damn. I don't like that.
I mean,
you ain't gotta lock me in a box to explain yourself.
Oh, but he's gonna. Like, you just need to understand that he's had a traumatic childhood and he just needs to be loved. And
you know what you need? You need to go to fucking therapy. That's what you need to do. I'm not obligated to empathize with your bad childhood.
I don't think therapy helps people like this.
Well, it's a start. And then we can evaluate the fact that you can't be helped.
Everybody. Like,
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's a start. Just to say, like, this ain't gonna help you. You got to go.
But it can make things worse, is what I'm saying. Like, you've just taught somebody. Okay. Somebody an asshole therapy speak. He's just going to use it to manipulate you and other people more thoroughly.
He done learned how to mask. Fuck. You made him stronger.
Right.
Well, shit. So you've been watching it since like the beginning?
Yes, and I finished up the final season, the final episode last night.
Oh wow! Did they kill him?
I don't want to give away spoilers for people who haven't seen it yet. I mean, many of us feel like he deserves to die, but
That sounds like he ain't died, but we can talk
Gotta
about that off
watch.
camera. Because I'm not gonna watch. I'm telling you that right now. The last
Okay, but after we finished watching that,
Mm.
I was just flipping through Netflix trying to figure out like what to watch next, and
Adolescence.
I no, let me tell you what I landed on. The Rose of Versailles.
Okay, this sounds familiar. Hold on.
Because I saw the trailer of it and I thought like this looks insane.
Rose of Versailles. Is it the anime?
Yes, and
yeah.
and a bit. It was looking so homoerotic.
Wait, okay, I'm looking at
with Marie Antoinette and a cross-dressing guard that she has, but everybody knows that guard is everybody knows that guard is a woman.
Oh, that's crazy.
But she looked,
because that's how some of the anime dudes be looking.
Yeah,
it got me.
And
I usually can clock it too.
Marie Antoinette is like looking all lusty at her guard, and somebody catches her. Is like, you know, that's a dude, right? And she was like, that's a dude, and she did not stop. She was like, you know, that's a woman, right? And she was like, she was like looking like, I don't care,
right? She said, you ain't say nothing but a word. What? And I don't give a fuck. Even better.
Why did it start? And I was like, oh, why are we doing a song now? I thought we did the opening credits. It took me a while to realize it's a musical.
Oh.
And then I went and looked it up because I had so many questions. Because once again, but also it looks a little bit ridiculous because you have these supposedly Austrian people in France who only speak Japanese. Like they're speaking to each other with no one else around.
They didn't have an English dub.
No.
Damn.
In Japanese. Well, I don't know. I didn't look for it because if it was originally in Japanese, I want to hear.
It is. It's a remake of like an old school, like early 80s.
I know,
series.
But now I want to stop watching it and go see that older one because that is even more groundbreaking to be that gay in 1979.
Listen, I'm not surprised because
and then also I was like, I can't believe y'all put this on Netflix because Magga gonna see. And every time they were doing gay shit, I was like, Magga's gonna see. Like, you can hide this shit on Crunchyroll. They won't see it
like,
there.
Or even Amazon. Like, why
didn't they put it on Netflix?
Why they put it on Netflix? That's wild.
They're trying to start some shit.
I grew up with Sailor Moon. Like I watched the cartoon. In the cartoon, like they tried to make the lesbian couple fucking cousins, and even as a kid, I'm like, this don't feel like no cousins I know. What? No. But I read like the manga, and I was like, okay, this makes sense now. I'm like, I think it's Neptune. No, Uranus. Uranus was the one with like the short blonde cut, and even I was like, I mean, she hot. Like, what do we? I mean, look at her. Like, yeah, can you blame everyone for like falling for her and then being like, oh, it's a girl?
Marie Antoinette is looking at her guard with just stars in her eyes. They're going all sparkling.
Because like Sailor Moon, like if you watch the original Japanese dub, Serena, well, she was called Serena in the English. She had girls confess to her, be like, can we date? And she'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry. You seem like a great girl, but I actually have a boyfriend. Like, she's not like, ew, a girl likes me. She's like, I have a man, but thank you. Like, and then they never got to the Starlights arc, which is really gonna do niggas his in because the Starlights were women. First of all, their outfits looked very borderline BDSM, but they were like another branch of like the Sailor Scouts that when they got to Earth, their human disguise was as men. Like, I don't know if it was full cross-dressing or through the power of magic. They literally were men in their human civilian form. And Serena fell for one of them. But I think she actually fell for Serena too. But either way, for all intents and purposes, the Starlights were men when they weren't in Starlight form. So now we got trans representation going on. Like, I don't know if they ever had any like conflict in terms of like, am I a woman, am I a man, does it not matter, blah blah blah. But the fact that you would have someone dress as a man and then turn into this skimpy ass outfit would have just blew up people's minds in America at that time. But for Japan, this was like what, late 80s, early 90s type shit. So yeah, in some ways I feel like Japan is a lot more progressive about
I would have
things.
never put those
Or like,
two words together. Japan,
there's
progressive.
I know.
Is it?
There was another anime that had very sapphic tones to it. Was it Escaflowne? I want to say it's Escaflowne. It had that whole like night thing to it too. Escaflowne. It was like a purple hair, kind of black looking girl. No, it was not Escaflowne. Why the fuck did I say that?
Also, like, why does this romance look like one way? Because Marie Antoinette is looking at her all sparkly, and the guard is like, I don't want to be up in here just guarding one bitch. Like,
well, she's probably like, look, I signed up because I thought I was gonna be able to cut a bitch.
Well, like,
why am I just guarding this woman?
Her father was like disappointed that he didn't have a boy, and I don't know the backstory behind like why he didn't just like try again for a boy or whatever. But he was just kind of like, I have a duty to guard the nation. He was like, I have an idea. I'll turn my girl into a boy, so I'm gonna name her Oscar.
Oscar,
and give her all the knights training and shit.
I mean, you could have.
Even though everybody's gonna know that she's a girl, but her name is Oscar.
I tell you, I mean, you could have given her a more like gender neutral name, Oscar.
Oscar.
Hold on, I'm gonna show you. So this is the other series that, you know, if you finish with Rose of Versailles, you might be interested in. Revolutionary Girl Utina. This might be something you're into. This, I don't believe there's a remake. I believe it's just as like late 80s.
Does the one with purple hair have darker skin?
I don't know, but she was like the closest that a lot of people had to a black character for a long time.
Wow.
So they were like, yes, our queen, yes, black people in anime. But I think she's like a princess or some shit, and like people would like battle for the right for her hand to marriage or something. Never watched it. I just knew it as one of those like anime staples of legend of like sapphic energy type shit. I'm like, okay, but yeah, you know, you got her little rappy air over there, and their little romantic. I think they're like reincarnated lovers or some shit. I don't know. It's always some reincarnated lover shit. But then Starlights, these were the Sailor Starlights. So like this was their male form. It was literally just like they keep the same haircut. It's just they got a long ass ponytail in the back. Just like, and then that was them when they were being all like extra sexy, like yeah, I'm gonna bring the titties out. Oh, anyway, so you got to finish Rose of Versailles.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the Starlight got
And Trevor was like tripping. He was like, why are they trying to make it look like a fairy magical land when it's just France? And I was just kind of like, this is the rich people of France before the revolution. This was why the revolution. So maybe this is kind of accurate, because when you look at like the palace in Versailles, it is all gold to the point of being gaudy.
Ugh. I mean, that was like early France in general.
Yeah. The hair is all popped up.
My screen wasn't showing the Starlights. This is the
Starlights. Outfits, the dresses are out like beyond.
Look at this. This is like late 90s. Look at this. I was like, this is sickening. I want to be a Starlight. Now again, This is them in their female form. It's not much different from what they look like when they're men. Like, they keep the ponytail, they keep the same figure. Maybe their shoulders get a little more broad. They just look like pretty boys. Like, and they were already pretty tiny chested. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Maybe they're drag queens. It's like, I've seen drag queens that could give a lot of women a run for their money. I'm like, God damn. What am I doing with my life? That could teach me something.
Well, they also have an advantage because they have all that muscle.
Muscle got
no cellulite at all because men don't get that.
Well, I mean, it depends on the drag queen. There's a lot of big girl drag queens out there.
Yeah, but they don't get cellulite because men, on average, do not get cellulite because it's a hormonal thing.
Okay. Maybe I need to understand what cellulite really is then. What are we talking about here? I thought it was just fat.
No.
Now I gotta Google cellulite. Hold on now. Cellulite. Okay, it's giving me actual like medical diagrams. I need to see cellulite on people. Because what? Oh, okay. Okay, so the lumpiness from well,
yeah, they don't get that.
It's not fair.
I know.
What the fuck?
I know.
I mean, damn.
Right.
What is cellulite then? Why do we have that?
I don't know.
What's it supposed to do? Is this it's just your estrogen going in places it ain't supposed to be?
No.
I don't understand my own body.
It's hormonal, plus our skin is thinner or whatever. It has to do with being biologically female.
Ugh. Is there any biological advantage? You know what? I think we do have a higher pain tolerance.
Well, also like that same estrogen, like it protects your heart. So like it makes it less likely that you'll get like the high cholesterol and that kind of stuff that does men in. And that's why you have to watch out when it comes to menopause. Like when your estrogen levels start to drop, then you become more at risk for things such as high cholesterol and all of those other things that can mess with your heart.
Also, when we get sick,
that's also why we tend to live longer. That, and also like because like testosterone also like influences decision making, and they tend to like take more risk. And when you take more risk, you have more likely to have an accident that can result in a concussion. And one of the highest predictors of having a concussion is already having had a concussion, because once you fuck up your decision maker, you make worse decisions.
That explains a lot of people. I found this grade of cellulite. So you have your grade 1, essentially no cellulite even when the skin is pinched or pressure is applied. Grade 2, no cellulite until you apply pressure on the skin, and then light dimpling. 3, visible dimpling when standing but not when laying down, which is what? And then 4, it's visible at all times with or without pressure laying down and standing. That is crazy. It still has not explained what the fuck it is other than just
it's fat. But like even if like if you are a person who's prone to cellulite, then which is mostly just women, and it's a thing that affects a lot of women, then like there aren't great options for you. Like even if you like get your body fat like really really low, like there are Olympians who still have cellulite.
Yeah, or even like even stuff like stretch marks. Like you just gonna have. I have stretch marks. Why? Other than I think my growth spurt,
puberty.
My skin. Yeah, I grew too tall for my skin to like catch up and
fast enough.
Yeah. So now like. Especially, and it's like it's on my hips of all places. I'm like the place where I'm like the most critical of being small. But yeah, I've got stretch marks on my ass. Like, how? Ain't nothing there to be stretching like that. Oh God, being a woman, I swear.
Right. Right.
Wouldn't have it any other way, but goddamn. It's like folks that's like, I love my children, but God, they get on my nerves sometimes. Being a woman
Oh.
is just, ugh, so annoying. Well,
Well, at least we can sit down and we don't have to adjust.
oh, yeah. You know what? I'll take that. Having to
We
sit on
don't
your
have
balls
to
just sounds
adjust.
so comfortable.
And then like a hot day too.
Well, they've got
Yeah.
underwear for that now. You can like tuck it into like its own little pocket.
Yeah, but imagine having to
It
go buy
only took
special underwear.
like 2024 for that to start being a thing. And then like random erections. Ugh, that'd be so annoying.
Yeah.
It don't even gotta be anything sexual. It's just a stiff breeze. It's like, oh no, now I have an erection and everybody's gonna look at me like I'm weird or it's in my pants weird and I can't adjust it. Ugh.
I've never spotted anybody else's erection
No, I
in public or whatever.
Yeah,
Because I
I've
just
never
don't
seen
go
that.
around looking at men's genital area.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm too tall for that. My friend,
Ah,
my friend
what's
being
a train erection? Is it just the
Damn.
bouncing?
the vibrations of the chairs. Hold on, let's see what Mike talking about.
Yeah. He said, yep. It's just
Yeah, well, like I said, it don't take much, but like just very little stimulation. Oh my god! Speaking of little stimulation, I saw an Instagram reel of this guy. He thought he had an STI. And he was so concerned because like he's been married to his husband, so he's like, I haven't been sleeping around. My husband must be cheating on me. Oh my god! And the husband's just being very patient. He's like, when did you start seeing this fluid coming out of you? And he's like, this morning after I used the bathroom. And he was like, babe, did you poop? And he's like, yeah. And it's like, okay, well, it must have been a very robust poop because it was just stimulating your prostate. And he's like,
that can happen to them.
yes, because this man was losing his. He was getting tested from the doctor. It was a chlamydia. It was a gonorrhea. It was nothing. And his husband was like, was it a robust poop? And he's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, your prostate was just stimulated, so you started leaking a little bit. And I'm like, wow.
Wow, men even get to enjoy themselves as they shit. Look at that.
Right. And, and for him though, he must have like a really good diet for the most part for that to have never happened to him. He said he was like 33. He said in all my 33 years, I didn't know this was a thing. So I'm like, yeah, you must have like a really bad diet that previous week because similarly can happen to me. I don't have a prostate, but my body will start just trying to make lube if it feels like, ma'am, you need more water. But in the meantime, we're going to start generating some stuff for you. And I'm like, thanks, body, for trying to help. You're kind of far from my booty hole, but I appreciate it.
Wow.
So I was like,
Wow.
but then I was like, yo, what if I actually do have a prostate though? How would I know?
You wouldn't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
So
know
like
because
that whole like intersexed thing, like
Yeah.
there's so much variation in
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's not like in the last time I gone to a gyno, they only did like the whole let me just pat your abdomen and just look at it from afar and be like, yeah, everything looks fine because
Well,
you're
you
not
weren't
having sex. So,
well, you were
Yeah,
having sex. But if
exactly.
you're getting a period, but even intersex
I
people
know,
can have a period.
exactly.
Yeah, intersex people can
'Cause,
have
like-
babies. Intersex people could do.
and like because I had
Yeah.
heard about this other woman. I don't think she wasn't having a period, but for all intents and purposes, she was physically a woman. She had developed breasts, she had a vagina, she had all of that, but she was like 22, never had a period.
She didn't go to the doctor for that? She didn't go to the doctor for that? Ever? Like in
Not
high
until-
school?
Look, I don't know if she was growing up in the South or something and the health education was that bad, but she finally went to the doctor. I don't remember what triggered her, but she went to the doctor. They checked her out, and she had inverted testicles where her
Yeah.
ovaries should be.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, bitch, you hit the jackpot. You ain't never gonna get pregnant. What? I I'm like, girl, you want to trade?
I was hearing a story of a similar woman who, but she went to the doctor when she was like 16 because she was like waiting to get her period, just like all of her other friends had gotten her period, and she eventually went to the doctor, and then they like checked her out, and that's when they found out like she was like female on the outside but male on the inside, and she had ovotestes. And I was telling my dad that story. He said, as soon as I said ovotestes, he was like, Fatima, stop making stuff up. I said, I'm not making it up. He was like, well, I don't want to think about it anymore. I was like, it's out there. It exists.
I feel like that's great. Well, it's great if you're someone who did not intend to have children anyway. So it's like,
she did not look like she was suffering at all. She was just kind of like, oh, that's a fun fact.
Exactly. A nice fun fact. I ain't never got to worry about a condom outside of just, sexual health in general. But if you marry, man, I was jealous. I was so jealous to hear that. And like I said, she was a cute girl too. So it was like, she's getting enough estrogen, because generally, like, you get a hysterectomy and you would need to go on like hormone treatment for the rest of your life if you get a hysterectomy too soon.
Yeah,
she ain't even gotta worry about that. But yeah, all that to say, maybe I have a prostate and I don't know, because there's no medical reason to check my booty hole yet. Not until I'm like mid 40s when you get a colonoscopy.
I don't know.
They say for black people is usually around like your mid 40s to early 50s that you should like get your colon examined. So I've still got a good couple of years before I gotta worry about that. And then we'll find out if I got a prostate. Then maybe I'll try anal.
You probably don't. You probably don't.
Let me dream. Yeah, no, if I did, I
somebody
probably
asked you like, what's your
now.
dream? You're like, ovotestes.
Ovotestes and a prostate. Yeah, but no, I probably don't have one of those.
I'm gonna really enjoy answering my dad's question when he asked, like, "What did you talk to the Avatar about this week?"
Oh, you can stimulate your prostate with a big poop.
so a kinky anime that I made Trevor watch.
What did you make him watch? What did you do to that poor boy?
It's his own fault for getting me to like anime in the first place. I never would have gone exploring.
What did you do to him? I wonder if it's something I've seen.
No, it was just that Versailles.
Of all the things he could end up watching, that is not the worst.
Rose of Versailles, and I was just because I was just tripping, and I was like, "Y'all put this on Netflix?"
Yeah, I feel like it probably would have done better on like.
We are all going to hear about this because they are going to think that this is a regular ass cartoon and sit their children in front of it and then be like, "Whoa, what's happening here?"
Yeah, everything animated is not for kids. I really need people to learn that.
They won't. Not in America.
Oh God. Yeah.
Oh, they see animation. They say it's a cartoon.
Oh yeah, let me just sit my kid in front of it. Look at these. Oh, and these are children. What is this called? Big Mouth. Yeah. Yeah, my kids can watch this. It's got kids. My kids are kids. What's the other show? South Park. Yeah, we good.
I was 13 and I wanted that Snoop Dogg record.
Because they had a cartoon, the Doghouse.
Well, I knew what was on it because I wanted the music, but my mom saw it. She was like, "Oh, the cartoon's cute. Yeah, I'll get that for you."
I feel like that was a lot of parents.
And then later, my father busted me listening to it. It was like, "Where did you get this?" And I was like, "Mom bought it for me." And then he was like, "They did."
Wait, how old were you though?
I was like 12.
I mean, she's also taking you to rated R movies, so like, what is a Snoop Dogg record saying that you haven't seen?
To all my niggas and my bitches and my bitches and my niggas. Like that was a song.
I mean, that's just your unks and aunties at a cookout. What are we talking about?
No, Dad was very upset and like yelled at me for a very long time, and then took
But
it
were
away
you
from me.
but
But
were
then
you
here's
quoting
another
the
thing.
songs though?
Then they no, and then he had a card party, and he was playing it, and I was like, "This is I can hear." Like,
It's like, nigga, you could have just asked to borrow my CD.
you didn't come tell me to go upstairs.
Yeah, it'd be one thing if you started exhibiting behavior that they could attribute to that CD. Like you start calling mom a
Whatever.
bitch and your dad's my
Whatever.
nigga and all that. Then we can start
Whatever.
taking shit away. But you just listen to it like, I just
But
like the beat.
also, Mom was not like checking out like what I was doing, because I just asked her to buy it again in cassette form, and I put it in my Walkman.
Again, I don't feel like
and
we have to.
continued on with my day.
You ain't gotta police children that hard. Like, just monitor what they're doing, and if you're finding that they're starting to do things that are concerning, then you can start taking away the stuff that you feel like is a bad influence. But
Well,
like,
whatever. Like the studies have been done, and there's no correlation between like music and behavior, nor video games and behavior.
yeah.
It's not the violent music and video games. It's a lack of mental health services and our gun culture. But nobody wants to do anything about that.
Yeah. But I'm just speaking to those parents who are like, your first kid, you don't really know how to really parent. You just kind of overreact. So it's like, just
but
calm
also,
down.
I'm a girl. They let Trevor listen to death metal, and it was fine.
Well, half the time you can't even hear the lyrics in death metal. It is all just in a beat. Like, come on now. I don't know half the shit that they say in the Metalocalypse, but the shit be hitting. And then I love
the one that's the coffee commercial.
That should be hot though. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, but the lyrics are so dumb. You actually see what they're saying. You're like, what? Okay. All right. Well, I gotta let you go since it's 6:31 and you're gonna turn into a pumpkin.
I have a flower emergency I need to take care of. I gotta go.
The plant or the baking ingredient. Oh, okay.
No, flowers. They're dying or some shit. I'm trying to save them. I've got them out in the sun, but now I need to water them, and I gotta go deal with these.
All right. Well, we gotta let Poison Ivy go and take care of her peoples.
Yes.
But I've been Ash.
And I've been Fatima.
And it's been Fatash.
Bye.
Bye.